Hey there! Welcome back to Matcha. Fall 2025 is shaping up to be pure magic. And I mean that literally. We've got brand new Isekai adventures ready to whisk you off to other worlds, and heartwarming romances that might just melt your screen. Whether you're here for epic battles in fantasy realms or sweet, slow-burn love stories, this season's lineup is absolutely stacked. Today, we're counting down 10 brand new Isekai and romance anime you won't want to miss this fall. So grab your tea, get cozy, and let's kick things off with number 10.
10. This monster wants to eat me. Some romances make your heart race. This one makes it skip for an entirely different reason. Premiering October 2nd, this chilling yet strangely tender series follows a human girl whose closest companion is a mermaid. She's protective, gentle, and never leaves the girl's side, but her devotion hides grim truth. One day, she plans to devour the very person she cherishes most. The previews drip with unease, pairing soft smiles with the glint of sharp teeth, moments of warmth with an undercurrent of hunger that never quite fades. It's the kind of show that lures you in with beauty, then holds you there with dread, leaving you to wonder which will win out, love or instinct. But while this story blurs the line between affection and danger, the next anime flips the script entirely, turning a self-made villain into the unwilling heroine of a tale she no longer controls.
9. The dark history of the reincarnated Villainess. Hitting screens in October 2025, this isekai romance takes the classic Villainess setup and twists it into something far more unpredictable. Our lead once wrote a cringeworthy fantasy story as a teenager, filled with over-the-top drama, awkward romance, and a villainess meant to be despised. Now she's woken up inside that very world in the role of the villainess herself, except the plot isn't playing out the way she remembers. A mysterious stranger has appeared, a character she never created, and his every move seems to pull the strings of her fate. The trailers tease a sharp blend of comedy, tension, and romance, with Studio Dean giving it just enough edge to keep you guessing whether she'll rewrite her ending or be swallowed by it. And if the idea of a story rewriting itself grabs you, the next entry takes a gentler path, swapping betrayal and manipulation for quiet discovery in a fantasy world where every step could lead to something unexpected.
8. The Barbarian's Pride. Charging into the season in October 2025, this fantasy romance doesn't waste time with polite introductions. It throws a decorated knight straight into the hands of a so-called barbarian warlord. What begins as a humiliating capture quickly unravels into something far more complex, as the Barbarian proves to be as sharp-witted as he is strong, and their constant clashes spark a chemistry neither of them can ignore. The main PV is packed with heated standoffs, close quarters tension, and fleeting moments of vulnerability that hint at a relationship built on more than just survival. It's a battle of pride and passion where every small victory and trust feels as intense as any sword fight. The question isn't whether they'll fall for each other, it's how many walls they'll break down along the way. But if this story burns hot with passion, the next one trades fire for something far quieter, a journey through an isekai where the greatest treasures aren't gold or glory, but the bonds you forge along the way. 7. A Gatherer's Adventure in Isekai. Arriving in October 2025, this series takes the usual isekai power fantasy and flips it into something far more grounded. Our protagonist isn't a warrior, a mage, or a chosen hero. He's a gatherer, gifted with the rare ability to find and collect anything. What sounds simple quickly becomes a quiet kind of adventure, where every discovery, from rare herbs to ancient relics, opens the door to new friendships, trade, and maybe even romance with a certain partner who shares his curiosity. The previews carry a warm, almost storybook charm, with lush scenery and a pace that invites you to settle in rather than brace for battle. It's the kind of show that rewards observation over brute force, turning everyday moments into something unexpectedly captivating. But not every journey in a strange world is so gentle. And in our next pick, trust is shattered, survival means getting even, and revenge comes with more than a little chaos.
6. Backstabbed in a Backwater dungeon. Kicking off in early October 2025,
This revenge-fueled fantasy wastes no time plunging its hero into betrayal. Left for dead in the depths of a forgotten dungeon, he stumbles upon an infinite gacha ability, a power that lets him summon allies and items far beyond the reach of ordinary adventurers. What follows isn't just about payback. It's about building a new life from the shadows, surrounded by companions who are as dangerous as they are loyal. J.C. Staff's adaptation promises flashy battle sequences, sharp emotional beats, and just enough romantic tension to keep you guessing whether the heart or the sword will win out. It's a story about turning weakness into overwhelming strength, and making every former ally regret underestimating you. But after all that chaos, betrayal, and raw power, our next entry shifts gears, stepping into a romance that's more about self-discovery, personal change, and the kind of sweetness that catches you off guard.
5. Plus-sized Misadventures in Love. Sliding into the season on October 6, 2025, this rom-com isn't about grand battles or magical destinies. It's about a young woman learning to see herself in a whole new light. After a sudden change in her appearance, she's forced to navigate the reactions of friends, strangers, and one very particular love interest who may or may not see her the way she expects. The trailers mix lighthearted comedy with genuinely heartfelt moments, showing a heroine who stumbles, doubts, and grows in ways that feel refreshingly real. It's romantic without being saccharine, funny without losing its sincerity, and it radiates the kind of warmth that makes you root for every small victory. But love stories aren't always warm and safe, and the next series proves it by throwing its characters into a romance where fear, prejudice, and impossible odds test every single bond they try to build.
4. With you, our love will make it through. Mark your calendars for October 14th, 2025, because this shoujo romance is shaping up to be one of the season's emotional heavyweights. Set in a high school where old prejudices run deep, it follows a shy human girl and a beastfolk transfer student whose very presence challenges the comfort zones of everyone around them. Their relationship unfolds in stolen glances, awkward conversations, and moments where simply standing together feels like an act of defiance. The animation teases soft, watercolor-like tones that match the tender pacing, while the soundtrack featuring Chico with Honeyworks adds an extra layer of bittersweet charm. It's a love story about patience, resilience, and daring to be seen in a world that wishes you'd stay invisible. But where this romance is gentle and understated, the next entry takes a completely different approach, blending quiet competence, lethal skill, and just a hint of slow-burn affection into a tale of survival in another world.
3. My status as an assassin obviously exceeds the hero's. Stealth makes its entrance in October 2025 as this isekai turns the spotlight on the most overlooked member of a class transported to another world. While everyone fawns over the so-called hero, the quiet, unassuming student receives the role of assassin and quickly discovers his abilities far surpass the chosen champions. What follows is a careful dance between staying in the shadows and using his power to protect those he values, with hints of a romance that blooms not in grand declarations, but in quiet, deliberate moments. The trailers promise slick action sequences, tense strategy, and that satisfying thrill of watching an underestimated character outplay everyone around them. It's a story where subtlety is strength, and every move counts. But if this assassin works best behind the scenes, our next pick steps boldly into the center stage. A tale of exile, reinvention, and a magician who proves that being cast aside is only the beginning.
2. The Banished court magician aims to become the strongest. Set to premiere in October 2025, this fantasy isekai taps into one of the most satisfying arcs in storytelling, the comeback of the underestimated. Cast out of the royal court for being only a support mage, our protagonist refuses to fade into obscurity. Instead, he steps into the wider world, honing his craft until the magic others dismissed becomes the very power they can't live without. The teasers show a blend of clever battle tactics, large-scale spellwork, and subtle romantic undercurrents that promise more than just revenge. There's a certain charm in watching someone rebuild their place in the world on their own terms, and this series looks ready to deliver that mix of vindication and heart. And speaking of unconventional dynamics, our top pick takes the double life trope and turns it into a ticking time bomb of comedy and suspense. Forget magic wands or epic battles, this one's all about gears, deception, and a heroine who can throw a punch harder than her mechanical joints suggest. Coming in at the very top is Mechanical Marie, the anime that's been quietly climbing the hype charts until bam, it's suddenly everywhere. Airing October 2025, this series follows Marie, a master inventor with a dangerous secret. She's not entirely human. In a city powered by steam, clockwork, and corruption, she navigates political intrigue while hiding the truth about her mechanical body. Every episode feels like a blend of high-stakes espionage and meticulous slice-of-life craftsmanship, and the animation team is clearly putting love into every gear and piston. The result? A show that manages to be thrilling, heartwarming, and drop-dead gorgeous all at once. Fans are already calling it steampunk done right, and if early reviews are anything to go by, this could easily become the breakout hit of fall 2025.
And that wraps up our list of the top 10 returning anime in future 2025. Whether you're here for adrenaline-pumping battles, slow-burn romances, or the kind of world-building that makes you lose track of time, next season is stacked with must-watch titles. The only real challenge? Trying to squeeze all of them into your watch list without sacrificing sleep. But honestly, that's part of the fun. From long-awaited sequels to fan favorites making their epic comeback, it's clear 2025 isn't just delivering anime, it's delivering moments we'll be talking about for years. So now I want to hear from you. Which one of these are you most hyped for? And did any of them catch you by surprise? Let me know in the comments. Maybe leave a like and subscribe to make a guy happy after hours of editing. Press on that bell icon too while you're at it so you will be notified about all of my latest new videos. And as for now, I'll catch you later.